You've probably heard a lot of talk about people's needs or people's emotional needs or what are my needs. And this can be unclear for a moment because needs might change and we might want to discern between wants and preferences and needs. And in this video, I am going to go over the 9 basic, essential emotional needs that every human has, and the also 9 innate resources that we are born with, that are at our disposal in order to fulfill these needs. In places, this will overlap with the intimate emotional needs that I covered in the previous video, but they also are slightly different because they incorporate the social dimension, the fact of us living in a community, in a society. So let's dive into it. Here are the general human emotional needs. First, the need for security, a safe territory and environment which allows us to develop fully and that is built on the physical needs first and foremost. If you are familiar with Maslow's pyramid, that will be the first layer at the base. The second is our need for attention, which implies feeling significant, so our need for significance. And it's both to give attention and to receive attention. It's the need to be seen, heard, and listened to, which is a form of nourishment to our soul, to our psychological aspect of who we are, as compared to the food, which is a nourishment for our physical body. The third is emotional intimacy, and that means an emotional connection to others through friendships and loving relationships. We all need at least one person who accepts us for who we are, warts and all, as the saying goes, who is biased in our favor and will support and defend us in full. This needs not to be the more obvious parents, siblings, partners, or spouses, but it may be a grandparent or a teacher, a good friend, a neighbor, or a colleague, somebody that knows us well enough and would be ready to vouch for us. As I was reflecting on it, I was very happy to realize that I actually have someone like that in my life, and I consider that as such an invaluable asset. And it's very close to the unconditional in this regard. I hope you do have a person like that in your life. The fourth is a sense of autonomy and control. Having the will to make responsible choices, having the will to set up a goal and move towards it, having the will and the freedom actually to ask for what you want, to pursue what you want in life, what is important for you. Fifth is the need for connection. This is a little bit different than the emotional intimacy and the emotional connection with someone close. This refers to the idea of feeling a part of a wider community. Right on the back of it, and in contrast with it, is the sixth, which is the need for privacy. And that refers to the opportunity to withdraw and have a space, an intimate space, where we can reflect and consolidate our experiences. Seventh is a sense of status within social groupings, and eighth is a sense of competence and achievement. And these often could go hand in hand as well, because sometimes people are able to achieve their status in a grouping based on their achievements and competence. The final one is the need for meaning and purpose in life, which comes from being stretched somewhat in what we do and think. In other words, which comes from growth, from personal growth. So these are very legitimate needs we all have. Has any of this surprised you? Is there any that maybe you didn't consider as a need? Now, let's move to the resources that we have. In order to get our needs met, we have an inbuilt set of human resources which we can use to understand and interact with our environment. I have adopted this list from the Human Givens approach, adding some information to complete it. So here they are. First, one of the main resources is our reason. It's a conscious, rational mind that can check out emotions and facts, question, analyze, plan, fine-tune, synthesize, and draw conclusions. What's important to note is that this is a resource we as adults have at our disposal as an innate resource. Children growing up do not have this resource developed yet. That's why they entirely rely on their caregivers to be able to, protect and discern and guide them into the best way of life. The second is we have emotions and instincts, which help us to understand what's happening around us and respond accordingly. Our emotions drive us to act, literally to move. Emotion from Latin. For example, the emotion of fear will prompt us to retreat or to charge. They can motivate us or hold us back. However, I will mark that emotions by themselves are a poor guide, a poor master. That's why it's important to learn to have mastery over your emotions. That does not mean stuffing them away and banning them out of our reality. If you want to learn some of the best ways of mastering your emotions, I have added a link in the description to a mini crash course. It's free, so go ahead and download it. The third is our memory. It's the ability to develop complex long-term memory, which enables us to add to our innate knowledge, remember experiences, and learn. The fourth one is our imagination. It's very interesting to know that memory and imagination, they kind of operate in the same brain area, so they are very much connected. And often when we don't have a memory of something, our brain will kind of map it out to fill in the gaps. But our imagination is what helps us focus away from the emotions and problem solve creatively in trying out ideas in our mind. In the therapy work, imagination is what helps us go back into the past and almost like reimagine it. And that has a tremendous impact on the emotional response, really clearing out those painful receptors, thus freeing us to move into the future and use all our resources towards a goal or building something rather than dealing with triggers. The fifth one is pattern matching. The ability to know or to perceive and understand the world unconsciously through a subtle metaphorical pattern matching process. This ties in to intuition, which is really our unconscious knowing about things in the world, in behaviors, in people. Number 6 is empathy, and this is the ability to build rapport, empathize, and connect with others so we can care for each other. It's part of this connection between humans, what allows us to resonate and connect with each other's experiences. 8 is enhanced awareness. This is the potential to develop an observing self, that part of us which can step back, be more objective, and recognize itself as a unique center of awareness, separate from intellect, emotions, and conditioning. What this refers to in a different modality like internal family systems would be the core self. The core of who we are is the awareness of everything and can hold everything that is happening within us. This is the most permanent and unchanging part of you that is central in defining who you are. It is not achieved actually, nor is it developed, and it cannot be destroyed. It is not dependent on your appearance or what you do or accomplish, though you can lose touch with it and forget that it exists. And the last one is dreaming, our capacity to dream. During dreaming, our brains way of both preserving our instincts and diffusing uncompleted, unresolved, or unfulfilled emotional arousals, including worries and ruminations, allows the possibility to create spare mental capacity for the next day. And that's why sleep comes across as being so important. It's a organizing process, optimization process of the brain, if you want to call it a defragmentation of our brain cores. Okay, how do we utilize best these resources that we have? One of the most efficient way is to set up goals. When you set up a goal or you set out an intention, your entire system at a very subtle subconscious levels gears towards achieving that goal, and all your brain resources, inner resources, are reoriented towards finding out solutions to get there. Subconsciously, your creativity centers are turned on. And when that goal is blocked, then we can use our resources to remove the blockages and find solutions. So, what do you think of these resources? How have you been utilizing them? Please let me know in the comments below. And as always, take care of yourself.